Hi guys, I hope all of you are well. Today will be about shadow. Do you know what shadow is and how to work with it and how it may show up in your life? So this recording will be about that. A couple of years back, when I had this spiritual awakening, which I mentioned in a couple of other recordings, one of the first actually sessions with my psychologist, she asked me if I know about inner child and about shadow. And I was like, what's that? I never heard of that before, really. So what shadow is, and inner child, really, they are connected, but they are not the same. Let's focus today on shadow, and later on I will mention a little bit about inner child. So about shadow. So, as you know, when you came to this world, you were whole. And then we experienced separation. So separation is where we have now conscious and subconscious. So what's happened was you came as a whole, but certain characteristics, certain behaviors of yours were perceived as not good, wrong. So for example, you might have been overconfident as a child and someone told you, oh, it's not good to be like that. Or maybe you were too loud and someone said, well, you need to be a quiet, good girl and sit in the corner, behave, right? So then those parts that were not accepted were suppressed into subconscious. And this often happened because of people around us made us believe that those characteristics of us are not good. Or we might have suppressed them and rejected them ourselves. So once you did that, it would go into our subconscious mind. And then you would forget about it. However, those parts of us are still there. They are not gone. They are just sitting there in that subconscious mind. And from now and then, they show up as some sort of triggers, thoughts, or things that we are doing and we don't understand why we are doing them. And the fact is as well that shadow doesn't really have to be bad. Shadow might be those good qualities of us which we suppressed because they were not accepted by our families, by whoever was, around us. I'm sorry. So that's shadow. And today, how shadow is going to show up in your life? Well, so you may meet people, for example, the example of, being overconfident. You might meet a person who is overconfident that is going to mirror that, and you're gonna feel jealous of that quality in them. You will feel jealous, but you're not going to know why. It's because they are mirroring the part of you which you still haven't integrated yet. And the fact is that those parts cannot be just rejected. They need to be brought to the equation, to consciousness, and then integrated. So that's how we become whole again. Whole as a consciousness, right? As you know, the world is awakening and that's what's happening. We are doing this work to actually move to consciousness. And more those triggers you're gonna have. So there's gonna be triggers based on certain situations. You're going to meet certain people. I know this could be also things like procrastinating. You may procrastinate your success because this is not safe and failing gonna be not good for you, right? Failure gonna be your weakness. So there is this fear behind it. It could be inability to set boundaries, for example, because back then someone didn't respect your boundaries, so now you are not setting these boundaries again. So, one day it's gonna click, it's gonna come to your consciousness, and then that's when you're going to become aware of those, of that part of you, that shadow of you. And that's when you need to start doing the work to integrate it. And also, just remember that it's not only what is in our conscious mind, or in conscious or subconscious mind. It's not only mind related. All of it has the energetic meaning behind it, right? There is this energy behind it. Why? Because, as you know, there are these imprints on us, and that are actually our energy. So when you start working with it, so you work with that original blueprint, we call it blueprint. So whatever happened became your blueprint, and now you are living your life. You have specific patterns based on that blueprint from your childhood. And then once you start doing the shadow work, more aware you are of those triggers that come into your equation, and more work you do on it to integrate it, that the blueprint is changing. And what that means, that your energy is changing as well. Your vibration around you and the way you manifest things also changes. So more of that work you do, lighter you become. All of it is also, like, you can sometimes, when you look at your body, for example, all of it is stored in our bodies, right? Like you may have neck pain or back pain, or very often there are problems with womb, for example, in females, because of that energy that is stored in our body based on from those parts that were rejected or suppressed. And then I don't know what else I was supposed to talk about. How can we work with it? Okay, how can we work with it? So once you see those parts coming to equation, right, to your vision, you can ask questions, specific questions about, why do I feel that way? When for the first time I felt like this? Because of whom? And then you kind of, by asking those questions, you connect the dots. But you can also ask, what's the opposite to that? How does it serve me if I keep holding or keep suppressing this part of me? By doing that work and journaling about it, you bring to equation those parts of you which were suppressed, and that's how you start integrating it. But also, the most important thing is, because of course we rejected those parts for some reason, and now our role is to actually start seeing and hearing those parts and start loving them, because those parts are parts of us. And very often, our chakras also might have been blocked because of that. So even like today, it's very challenging for me to stand here in front of that camera to talk. You can feel like it's very messy, but I want to do those things for myself, really. But I do feel like my throat chakra might have been blocked, because my dad used to say kids and fishes don't have voice, so because also there were so many situations in my home where it was just not safe to speak up. I just silenced myself. And that's why today, when I'm standing in front of the camera, even though I'm feeling this calling, internal calling to do it, it's very challenging for me to do it. And of course, English is not my first language, so that's another challenge, but I try to do it regardless. So what's another way of doing shadow work? You could ask also someone else to point a couple of things towards you, a couple of characteristics of you that they think that you are not bringing, you know, that you are not embodying, and this would give you some sort of idea as well. Yeah, and just remember that shadow work, it's also about our good parts. Now, what's the difference between shadow part and inner child work? Both of them are very important, and I've been doing that work for many years now, especially when there are a lot of triggers these days where I recognize them and I don't just leave them as I used to, because I had no idea of its existence, right? I didn't know that there is something like shadow or inner child. So now when I am triggered with certain things, especially with men, this is ongoing work on my end, but I look into it as a mirror. That person comes into my life to show me what still needs to be integrated on my end. And what's the difference between shadow and inner child? So shadow are those suppressed and rejected, maybe shamed as well, parts of us that we had to suppress and push it down into subconscious mind. But inner child is more coming from the attachment side, from this wounded part of us, often connected to trauma as well. So parts of us who were developed between age of, you know, when we were born until 7 years old, potentially, and that part of us who was really hurt or neglected even. So it's more of an emotional and energetical feeling behind it, right? Not only the mind, but more emotional part of us. But the actual work on it is the same. The first thing is acknowledging, seeing it. More work you do, more of those triggers you're gonna see, and then you can go through those questions, and you can then see and feel this part and hear this part and acknowledge that this part is there. At the beginning, I remember that I was on a Zoom call at work, and when someone asked me a question, I would respond to that question, but I had no idea what I said in that call, because I would feel that stressed out energy coming like into my face, and I completely didn't know what was happening. And this was my inner child who was kind of taking over in those situations and would speak for me, just because she didn't believe that I can do it on my own. And the way I overcome this was that I retrained myself, where I knew I will be talking. I could feel that feeling on my chest already coming, and I would be like in my head like, hey, you know, I've got it. Just don't worry, you don't have to do this. This is not your role, this is my role. Just go and play there, you know, just go and have fun, like kids have fun, you know. Slowly, I was able to change that feeling. So now I am able to talk to people on the call, even when there are more people on the call. I'm fine with it. Even when I actually feel that feeling, I can still able to kind of feel it in me, but I am not allowing it to overcome. So I am losing completely control over what I said or what happened, and I wouldn't remember it. So this is how you do shadow and inner child work. I hope this was helpful. I don't know if I'm going to post it. I'm not entirely happy with it, but if I do post it, please like it. Don't give me thumbs down, because someone gave me thumbs down, and you know, I am new to this, I'm learning. So, you know, if you don't like it, just get out, you know, don't give me thumbs down. You know, you can do yourself the same thing, and I wonder if you're gonna be better at it. So, but anyway, that's my kind of ending to this video. Bye. And I forgot to say, please subscribe.